Sometimes these forms of communication would come to us at odd hours, shortly after 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or maybe on a Saturday morning. Taylor put me in contact with Shelley Link, who oversaw her oil lease money. I had made a couple of attempts to reach Shelley. We would call, we would leave a voicemail. One time, Shelley emailed us back, kind of reprimanding us for asking too many personal questions about her customers. Bank information is completely confidential. The clients are not okay with the seller calling your bank and are firm on the decision in that matter. Thank you, Shelley. Oh, I mean, I'm getting my butt chewed out, obviously, for checking up on it. As time moved on, Taylor referred us to an uncle that was from the Northwest named Butch. And Uncle Butch was going to wire transfer $300,000 so she could write 2 checks for $150,000 each as escrow money.
And that didn't happen either.
Babe. Make sure you don't let it run, please. Words have been given you based on your past gameplay activity.
I don't really know what to think.
Sent to storage.
Never did this much at one time this fast. I think there's something else going on. A lot of times I would go to work and confide with my boss, Roger. He would say, everything happens for a reason. He said, me and my wife both love her to death. I don't see her taking me down no bad path. So whatever, she's telling me, it's gonna be the truth.
All of a sudden the money wasn't coming like it's supposed to, and there's more and more fights. She would text me and say, I don't think he loves me. I bought him this truck and he's not acting any different towards me. I think he may be talking to somebody else.
Can you please call me back? I have tried and tried to call you. I am trying to figure something out so I can tell Shelley. I need you to call me back home in some way, somehow.
She was stressed all the time that she was going to lose weight. I worked from home and I could see his house from where I was looking, and Wade would be riding side by side out to the farm, and she was just holding him, embracing him, like, just, this is my guy, like, I love him so much. And Wade would he just seemed very distant from her. She came over to my house one day. She heard Ray was fighting a lot. She wanted to see me as a chiropractor, which I am. She came here, she was just real ecstatic, real happy. She said, I want you to talk to my body and ask if I'm pregnant. I asked her, I said, why do you think you're pregnant? And she said, well, I looked in the mirror and my aura has changed. I just know it. So how can I tell Wade? I said, well, you don't. You don't tell Wade anything until you know. She was convinced.
One evening, she hits me with, I'm pretty sure I'm pregnant. Angela took her to the doctor. She got a test, and lo and behold, come back out there with paperwork showing she was pregnant.
She sent me a text message and said, I think I'm pregnant.
And I was like, congratulations.
They announced that she was pregnant. So I thought, okay. Wade was maybe a little nervous about what was fixing to come and change his life,
I mean, I like to take stuff slow, and I just started jumping from dating 1 month to I'm already pregnant. So Roger was tickled to death, Angela was happy.
Aw, you got me, baby.
She had said, I want this baby to call you Aunt Bay, best aunt ever. So she actually went and had a shirt made. I know that she was preparing, like, we had a garage sale on the street and there was a high chair
And she was like, oh, I want that high chair. We brought it over to her, and she was excited to have it.
I've never had kids before, so this is all first for me, and she's already had 2. You're the expert here. I mean, I'm just going to go with whatever you're telling me.
I felt he was obligated, but I think the money helped that obligation.
I don't like that.
My bad.
She told Cody and Stephanie that she wants to do a gender reveal.
What baby? Chicken butt. Chicken butt.
I was like, oh wow, that's so exciting. But I had asked Cody one day, I'm like, I don't think that she like really has many friends
Oh,
because
baby
the way
red.
she acted towards me. Well, he actually was like, just be nice. She really likes you, so
Yeah, baby
let's do it
blue.
this day. She had a list of people that she wanted to invite. I said, so you're not your mom or anything? She said, no, don't mention it to my mom. Nobody on, that's a no-go. We don't do that.
Taylor was sending me a report that was saying if it was a boy or girl. And so I sent that on over to her friend.
It said, congratulations, Taylor Parker, it's a girl. And I'm like looking at this paper really well, and I noticed the date on it. And the date on it said 2016. So I called her, and I said, are you sure this is the right paper? And she said, let me call my doctor right now. Well, it seemed like 30 seconds may have passed by, and she said there were over 200 or 100 misprints that day in the lab. So they're going to send a new one, but she did say the gender is right. I knew something was off.
Babe.
The day of the gender reveal was very awkward, but she seemed really excited. She kind of like started screaming and jumping up and like clapping, and it was kind of quiet.
They come around the door wide over there. They come around the side of the house with a little calf and had a pink little bow around its neck, you know. And they're all excited and everything else, you know. And I just start clapping or whatnot.
I told her I always liked the name Clancy, so she come up with the middle name, Clancy Gill.
When he told me, I was like, you know, it's different. He said, Mom, I've had that name picked out for years.
He was excited. He wanted to be a father. You know, like I said, he's always wanted to be a father. I mean, what man does not want to be a father? You know, I don't know, but I have one. Maybe.
I saw pictures of this gender reveal. She had this baby calf and had a pink bow around it, and it was a girl. It made me sick. It made me so sick to my stomach. Because I knew, that she can't be pregnant. She had a hysterectomy.
Our first involvement with Taylor was in 2010, I think at the age of 17, for her first pregnancy. After her second child, she did not want to have any more children, so she made the decision on permanent sterilization, physically blocking the tubes so that you can't have children anymore. She signed the appropriate consent forms, went through the wait period, and was still adamant that that's what she wanted. Taylor came back about a year and a half later with bleeding. She had a cyst on the right ovary. When we got inside, she also had what looked like a visible ectopic pregnancy in the left tube. An ectopic pregnancy cannot be carried to term. It would be dangerous and most likely life-threatening. The decision was made to do a hysterectomy and removal of both tubes on the right ovary. After a patient has had a hysterectomy, she cannot become pregnant because she no longer has a uterus to get pregnant from.
What? Where? In the living room? Hold on. Hold on. All right.
Town, and he was a patient of ours. In 2020, we started seeing social media posts about her pregnancy.
When we first found out Taylor was saying that she was pregnant and announced it on Facebook, we were very confused because we knew that she could not be. We couldn't publicly say anything about it because we were bound by privacy laws. Unless there is something that's endangering someone else, then we can't break those HIPAA laws.
We were being put in a very difficult position. And Abby knew she's not what she thinks herself to be. When I first met Taylor, we hit it off immediately. She became a very close friend of mine. I would say literally almost overnight.
Thank you, Daddy.
Before everything happened, Kenzie, Taylor, and I were all best friends. And we spent basically all our time together 24/7. If we weren't together, there was at least two of us together. Our emotions were very connected. If I was sad, she was sad. If she was sad, I was. If she was happy, me too. But I was worried back for her. As my close friend, I was so worried because Taylor stayed sick. I mean, she stayed sick all the time. She had all these conditions. She's always in and out of the hospital. I remember there was always pictures of her like in the hospital. She's taking selfies.
Please, motherfucker.
Taylor told me that she had been diagnosed with MS. She also had cancer, from my understanding. At one time, she had had like a brain tumor or something. She's had a stroke. And all of these things kind of played into each other. There was a lot of posts about it. She would actually have times when you could see deficit from the stroke. And you'd see slurring, drooping face. I mean, I genuinely believe that she had suffered a stroke. Always something with her. She would put on Facebook that she was either sick or she had a headache. After it kept happening and happening and happening over and over, I started being like, yeah, maybe she's not really sick. Maybe it's like something else. At the same time, I was going through health problems of my own and was actually told that I would never have kids naturally. Taylor shared those emotions with me. And then once she found out that I was pregnant, it was like she was pregnant with her own child. It was just so exciting for both of us. As my pregnancy progressed, she wanted to be in everything. And as my best friend, I was fine with that, you know. But then after Taylor had realized Mackenzie was having a girl, things got super weird. She wanted to plan the gender reveal. She wanted to be there for the ultrasounds. She wanted to know when the appointments were. How was Kenzie doing? How was the baby doing? She wanted to log in to my pregnancy tracking app so that she could watch the progress of my pregnancy. It was concerning. And I know you're happy for her, but you don't have to be like crazy happy. It's like she wanted the pregnancy to be hers. And then she asked if one of us could carry a baby for her. She said, okay, I've accepted that I can't have any more kids. Would one of y'all want to do it for me? She said that whoever carried this baby would get a minimum of $50,000. But how could you have another baby when you didn't even take care of the two kids you had? That was the first time I took a step back from Taylor and was like,
Why is your alarm going off?
you're
I don't know.
She became
There's a timer.
obsessed with my pregnancy, and I had to cut her off. Then I heard through her social media that
Hey, babe.
that her and Wade were going to have a baby. I feel like she got far
I would feel
away
sick,
from our
too.
friend group. that she could start this whole lie over again. He didn't know that she probably had Stephanie.
After the dinner reveal, I called that lab and I just said, hey, there was someone I knew that went and had lab work done. And I read this lady the gender reveal paper, and she said, we don't send things like that. I actually called the clinic, and I spoke to the office manager. And she said, if you don't mind me asking, what's her name? And I said, Taylor Parker.
With the HIPAA laws, I told her, I said, I cannot give you any information since she used to be a patient of ours.
But what all you told me, I can tell you this, just go with your gut. Trust her instinct.
Yeah, I left it at that.
Me and Connie are just talking at this point, like she has said so many things that did not add up.
She and I talked every day about what she had learned or found out, and some of the clinics she claimed to have gone to, and they wouldn't say, but they would kind of say, yes, you're probably to something.
I even asked Angela at the time, with her to Healthcare Express, she said no.
She would sit up in the bed at 11, 12 o'clock at night, you know, trying to investigate. You know, I would be nice at first, like, baby, what are you still doing up, you know? Oh, I'm just scrolling through Tyler. Why in the fuck are you scrolling through, or what the fuck? Gosh damn, leave that shit alone.
I was like, am I crazy? Like, she wouldn't go through all this to not be pregnant.
The gender reveal, her dad was there, her kids were there. I mean, you know, in your mind you think, well, why are they here if it's not true? I mean, they would know.
She's got to be pregnant, or somebody would say so.
I started getting emails and text messages when I was at work, be from different numbers that I didn't really know. Me and Claire getting pretty much every day. I would get some and then she would get some.
Personally sending text messages to him randomly throughout the day and night. Not just 1 or 2, 3, 8 or 10 a day or so. It was stuff that he would read like, who thinks like this? Horrible thoughts. I got a letter in my business email. And that's when it really kind of started getting involved in our life. It said, listen, you know nothing about Taylor.
It's a big ass
Don't try to do another
eBay.
visit to her. Yeah, I'm going to send her in such a deep depression. She'll probably try to kill herself like she's tried before. But if not then, me making Wade leave will be the trick. I told him, I said, Wade, there's something going on. It's not right. He finally called me one day and he said, Mama, here, look at these text messages. We found out today that her mother is behind that.
One evening, she called me on the phone and she was terribly distraught, crying on the phone and told me this whole story about how her mother had come back in the picture and caused all these problems for her and none of it's going to work out.
She was very distraught when she had to tell us that that wasn't going to happen. She was not going to be able to purchase. Her mother had died supposedly in the bank fire and had all kinds of things changed where then she couldn't get the money. All of a sudden, the mom's back in the picture and she had orchestrated all that.
Told her I can't believe your mom is doing this. Can't believe you and your mom can't come to some kind of peace on this whole deal.
But once her mom found out she was pregnant, she was just kind of against her having any kind of kid with me that's going to be getting any kind of inheritance like that. She said, I warned you what kind of person she was.
It really upset me, that he had to go back and face his family, knowing it wasn't really going to happen.
Right in the middle of everything else that was going on, Taylor was portraying it more, happy-go-lucky family, like so many weeks pregnant and like have her hand on his stomach or whatever.
Wow, how'd I miss?
All people see is the social media platform. All they see is the happy smiling faces and the loving, happy relationship. It was all communicated. She thrived off validation. I knew Taylor from junior high to high school. She cared about the way she looked, she cared about her weight, but she was very insecure. Taylor would meet most of the boys she spoke to online. She would add girls for pictures of themselves, neck down, and she had no shame in saying it, like, oh, I'm sending it to this guy I'm talking to. They're thinking, like, you're just openly asking me to give you a new picture of myself to send to some random person to catfish them. Like, what are they going to do when they see you? Not long before I'd met her, she lost a lot of weight. She had a gastric sleeve in. She would say things about how her skin looked and how she wished that she could just take it off, But then would get ready and was so confident. You could not destroy her confidence. I worked with Taylor 2018 to 2019. At the time, I was the recruiting coordinator there. She seemed like a good worker. She seemed like she was on top of it. She was eager to learn. To be honest, I was going through a very hard time. I just lost my youngest daughter in February of 18. So I was doing good to get up and go to work. When I would have a hard day, Taylor would talk about how she had lost her baby girl. So, that was what was brain damage. And so she really knew that it was like, okay, your child lost and so for another mom to feel that for another person, because you don't know how that feels until you experience it. It's beyond devastating. And that's what would make me feel like she understood and vice versa. But of course that wasn't true.
I can go home thanks to you.
She mimicked people in all facets of life. I feel like she tried to mimic a lot of what I was through. It's almost like she has to piece together parts of other people's real lives and make her feel a little bit more real. You said you take birth to your baby by the same woman that you held while dying, like I did my daughter. And that was my own story. That wasn't for her to use to manipulate and lie. And it feels very violating. Later, we find out that she actually was not doing any of her job, really. Not getting any care, not entering applications. She was using my self-information, unnecessarable, nothing suicide. At the same time, Taylor started a side photography business. She would do it on the weekends, weddings, engagement announcements, family portraits, happy moments. Like family-oriented, with happy, big, life-altering life events. She wanted to somehow be a part of. My daughter, Reagan, had a photographer at her wedding. I asked how she came about and what she'd done before, and she said one of her friends had recommended her, and she was trying to stay budget friendly, so this person was ideal for that. And her name was Taylor Parker. Very polite young lady, real pretty. She was a lot like Reagan to me. The moment she captured of Reagan in a wedding
were absolutely beautiful. And Taylor made sure she greeted everybody and told everyone who she was and what she was doing there. And it didn't feel like she was just some random stranger none of us had ever met. Almost felt like she was a bridesmaid at one point because she was in all of our selfies. I asked about her, who is she, where's she from? Reagan mentioned that she was going through some difficulties with her ex-husband, I believe is what she said. She was just kind of having a hard time, and Reagan was trying to include her to kind of take her mind off of that. They had gotten closer, more acquainted throughout this process, and so Reagan invited her to hang out with everybody after the reception. She made her feel like just one of us girls. I still look at all of those photos today because of how spectacular that day was. And Taylor, as a person, you would have never known her to be any other way.
She would go to a Dr. Pullman, but I couldn't ever go in with it because of COVID at the time. When I did try to go, she said the doctor had an emergency or he couldn't meet us. We had to reschedule.
She's starting to look pregnant and she gained weight, but the belly thing didn't seem to, really show that much for the months that she claimed she was. But on Facebook or whatever, there was pictures.
She come over where I was at. She's still right here. And all of a sudden, the baby kicked.
I felt it. My husband felt it. And why would you not believe it?
Taylor had them two in her back pocket. Roger, he was hard on him, like me. You want to take care of this woman and this baby, because it's yours. My wife felt the baby moving in your wife's belly. I would see a picture of her or something like that. Look, I said, look, she's skinny this day. Look here. 5 days ago, she looked like she got down 9 months pregnant, It was just some crazy jacked up junk, for sure, no doubt.
During that summer, the time was very limited. Never hardly wanted to ever me to see her think of anything because she said she would insecure with her fit mark. She never really did anything at all for nothing.
He said, man, she won't let me, touch her, get close with her or anything like that. He's like, honey, you didn't even have sex in 4 months. 4 to 5 months. I said, just what?
She'd go in the bathroom and shut the door, and then she'd spend hours doing just whatever.
Like kind of things on the phone, I told you one night, we used to talk that Mr. Barton had home sit in the house and they were together every single day. He was doing something all the time. There was no space for him to sit down and realize what was going on.
I mean, she had ultrasound. She had the fake belly. She had enough to make it really. For her, it was just whatever I did. Whatever I did, keep this man with me.
Western photography. I do like photography like for Western people.
Oh shit.
I do newborn.
Motherfucker wasn't playing, was he?
I do maternity weddings. I do Western weddings only. Taylor Parker, she reached out to me and wanted me to do a maternity session. I'm absolutely in love with your rustic Western photography. I'm a photographer myself and needing some Western style pregnancy couple pictures done. I'd love to lay on the horse's back with my belly in the air and have Wade holding the horse looking at me. Just an idea. She was absolutely excited about being pregnant. I felt like she liked having her pictures taken. She felt very confident. She was super happy, excited. And I did a smoke bomb with my Washington, and they acted like they were branding those pink and really neat looking. She said that she was ready to get back to normal, back to her body, like she had just gained a lot of weight, but she looked really good. I thought she looked very good. We actually had a really good time. We talked, we laughed. After they left, I even told my husband, I was like, oh my gosh, they're so nice. She's so bubbly and friendly. They're such good people.
Now she's doing this, and I've seen the pictures, and of course she looks big and pregnant. Then my sister-in-law was like, oh my gosh, you don't know this girl, but her name is Mackenzie Bright. She knows Taylor, you need to like message her.
Stephanie had reached out to me and was like, hey, I need to know some things.
She said Taylor cannot have kids. She's had a history.
There's no way she can have a baby. Period. Nothing down that left her, you know.
And word got out. All the people that knew started, within their own inner circle saying, she's not be pregnant. But again, it was kind of her thing to get just far away where
Uncle ain't ready, for real.
Again, but close enough where I'm familiar with
Uncle's not ready.
But she got Reagan and stuck to her. I can remember it vividly. We were walking out of the doctor's office, and Reagan gets a message on her phone, and she's just like, oh. And I said, well, what's wrong? She said, oh, people are giving Taylor a hard time, trying to tell her she's not really pregnant, and that, she's the one. And I was like, why? Why would they do that? She said, I don't know, Mama. She said, it's just, how people are. If somebody needed somebody and nobody was there, Reagan would be there.
Yeah.
When she first got pregnant with her first daughter, she was 17. So it was hard for me at first.
Damn dogs just be collecting anything.
I was furious. I was upset, and I knew that it could change your life and make starting a life a lot harder.
I was over the moon about it because we both loved babies. She's always wanted to be a mom since she was little.
It was like she was always meant to be a mother. That was her thing. She was the best mother that I think I've ever known.
She didn't.
Are you charging your phone?
That wasn't in her mind. She wanted to be successful, of course, but she wanted to be a mother, a successful mother.
Here, the orange.
After she had her baby girl, she just came out of her shell completely. And then we met Homer. I believe it was in May that she let us know that she was pregnant again. And we were just over the moon for her and Homer. And they were so excited. You could just feel it in all of us. And so she's a big girl.
Hey, what's in my belly? What's in my belly? What kind of baby? Is it a brother or sister? A sister!
By that time, none of us had any idea what she was going to do. At some point, she's going to have to fake a miscarriage.
I mean, that's the only way out of this. She'd say, you know, I lost the baby today, and that would be, you know, the end of it. What never came. I hated the hysterectomy and all that, but I had nothing in writing, nothing from a doctor, nothing to present to him to say, look, this is all a lie. So I would put questions in his mind. He would listen to me. He would relay the questions I had to her, but she always had a counter to everything I presented. She countered it. So it was a tug of war between she and I.
I just don't think your mom wants us to be happy. She probably don't trust me. She said, I'll make sure that all this works out in the end.
Connie don't want Wade to be upset with her, so she kind of backed off, and I was like, well, I don't care. I ended up just saying all this stuff that she had told me has been a lie. When I hit her with everything is when she said, well, let me tell you how all this happened. She blamed her mother for all of the things that she done. None of it made sense. If she didn't want you to be pregnant, why would she hire somebody to fake an ultrasound? But everything I would say, she had something to say, even though she sounded like an idiot. I had talked to somebody that knew Taylor's aunt. The aunt gave Taylor's mom's number. And her mom said, I've been waiting on this phone call. She said, Taylor cannot have kids. She's had a hysterectomy. No, we don't have money. There is no inheritance money. There is no money at all. I called Connie and I talked to her mom. There wasn't anything there. This is always the man. That's when I said, why are you not telling me of somebody? And that's when the granddaughter came in play. She was terrified because if she were to tell, Taylor would pull that granddaughter away, and she would never, ever be able to see that little girl again. She was scared to say anything. I had called him. I said, no, she is not pregnant, cannot be pregnant. And he said, Stephanie, yes, she's pregnant. Her mom's lying to you. Like, her mom's crazy. She does all this stuff. She's like crazy. I'm like, wait, no, you don't understand. Like, I was in the hospital for this. She had a hysterectomy. And he's like, her mom, she's telling you, there's no belly there. There's no stomach. We're talking. I was talking over him.
Man, all this is bullshit. This bitch is fucking with she ain't got this money. I mean, this is a fucking scandal. And I told him, I said, I kind of got teary-eyed, you know, because I was one of the closest friends, you know. I just hang about the drama. I don't care what other folks do. I kind of just wash my hands, you know.
Him and Cody kind of, they quit speaking after that. I'm like, now what?
Oh my goodness.
You've done me a great.
Not a great supple. Uh-oh.
I can't thank you enough, friend.
And my mind constantly wandered and just raced and raced and raced with, what is she gonna do?
We're all watching this house like hogs. What is gonna happen? What is she gonna do?
As the time went on, it got closer and closer to her due date, and it didn't happen.
She had a lot of factors of why she could have missed her due date. She wasn't eating right, or it might have been not ready yet, or the baby might be too small, but I didn't really know what to believe.
We all knew that there was no way for her to have a miscarriage anymore.
We felt that she had to come up with the baby somehow. So for the safety of the rest of our patients and our nursery, we did alert the hospital to be on higher alert, what was called Code Pink.
We really thought that if anything, she would just try to steal a baby.
And at that point, she went 10 months, and I thought, that doesn't happen either. Never heard of that in my life.
I lived across from Wade, and I had taken pictures of her and Wade out in the driveway. She didn't look pregnant for being 10 months pregnant, you know? I mean, it started to become not believable. And that's when all of these weird events started happening.
I'd been taken off leave from my work, and she had scheduled an appointment with Mount Pleasant. She wakes me up and says she smells smoke. So I get up and walk outside, and the whole underside of my house is on fire. So I just took my water hose, took what fire was left burning out.
Going to have the baby that day, and I think Wade even took off work. So it got down to I've got to do something. There was no doubt in my mind that, I knew she did that.
I said, I'm going to sleep over on the couch just for right now. Then whenever I got up about 7, she said, hey, I know you're probably going to get ready to go, but we can't go to Mount Pleasant this morning. There's been a bomb threat called.
Damn!
I just received a caller, and he said there is a bomb in the hospital.
Okay, so male subject called and said there was a bomb in the hospital?
Yes, sir, he said it's fine.
There is no way, Tater, that there's a bomb threat. And she said, no, look on Facebook. It's all over Facebook.
And she said, they had a bomb threat this morning. There was a bomb threat. Sure was. Because you called it in. I worried about his safety. All I cared about was him at that point and his well-being. I said, do you love her? Well, I care about her. I said, but do you love her? Well, not really. I just, And I said, then get her down. I'm not later. I really turned her down and he really got harsh with her.
I don't know if I've ever seen her that mad before. But I'm tired of your family not siding with us on you having your baby. I'll be danged if they want to call me a liar. I'm not pregnant. I'm going to tell everybody that I'm pregnant. I'm going to go home. And that's what she said.
Yeah, I ain't ready for that, nigga. I ain't gonna hold you. What the fuck? I'm gonna take on that fucking spider.
On that Wednesday, Reagan and Taylor had a girls' day. They went to Starbucks apparently and just kind of hung out. And then on the 8th, Taylor had come back over to talk with Reagan. Apparently she was just coming to visit. She was expecting to be going in to be induced the next day. And Reagan felt like Taylor was probably overwhelmed with everything. And she was trying to be that one person there for her when nobody else was.
Got dressed that morning about 3:30 or 4. We had a pen full of hogs that I ungathered after calls from our trappers. The plan was we were both supposed to go load the hogs up, go drop them off, and then we were going to swing down to the Idlewild Hospital. I said, "Are you ready to leave?" And she said, "Well, not feeling just too great. I think I'm going to let you leave with the hog, and then I'm going to meet you at the hospital." I said, "Well, that wasn't the plan. I think we both need to go together. This is a big deal." She said, "No, we need to get them sold. That's too much money to turn down." So I didn't argue with her no more. I went and loaded the hogs up, and I left. It probably took me 4.5 hours or something to get up there from my house. I pulled in, and he told me, he said, "I didn't order no hogs today." And I said, "There's no way you texted me this morning." He said, "I didn't text nobody." I said, "You didn't text me from this number?" So I pulled out my phone. He said, "That's not my number." I said, "You not talked to a tailor about some hogs?" He said, "Yeah, weeks ago. I quit texting her." And he said, "I didn't follow up with nothing." And I said, "Well, who in the world would have texted me from this number?" And he said, "Man, I don't know."
I went to work. I was in my office, and the homework had me. He said, "Miss Jessica, have you talked to Reagan this morning?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, she texted me, but it doesn't, it's not like her." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, after she stopped texting, I've been trying to call her, and she won't answer." I said, "Well, is she at work?" He said, "They haven't heard from her."
It was my day off from work. My friend Chris had come over. I mean, it just seemed like a normal day. And then Jessica called me and said that Reagan wasn't answering. And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, we're fixing to go to town anyway. I'll head that way." We were about halfway there. She called me back and said, "Our grandbaby's not at the daycare." She sounded frantic. So she headed to the house.
As I'm getting to Reagan's Road and turn onto it, I see their house and the garage door is open. Well, that worried me because they never leave their garage door open. As I get out of my car, I'm walking and I see these little red streaks. And I thought, "Oh, well, the dog must have heard it spit," and so that's what I was seeing. And I kind of opened the door and I saw the bloody footprint. And I shut the door. And then I kind of stepped back and I thought, no, if she's in there and she's hurt or, she can't answer me, I need to go in.
New Boston 911, what's emergency? Ma'am. Okay, where are you located at? In New Boston? What happened? Okay.
What's wrong, man?
Yeah, my husband's up there. He was delivering hogs right outside the Idabel. That's how strange it seems. Can you call my husband?
Yes.
The baby's probably like maybe 35 minutes old.
I'm gonna get the phone back.
Did you just fly down the road and you stopped her or what?
Yeah, she's driving down the road, passing on the shoulder, she had her hazards on, ran over a bird, still in the grill. Did the name come back on that 27? Her name is Taylor. I don't have her last name. I think he's already in Oklahoma working. So he's already...
She called me. She said she's having a baby on the side of the road. How quick could I get to the hospital?
Where are you at?
What's up?
We're going to the hospital. We're going to Cottage.
Alright, let me finish what I'm doing and I'll call you right back.
Okay.
I was like, this has got to be a joke.
You was on your way to Idabel to have a baby.
We pull up. Jessica's in the driveway.
She's on her hands and knees and she's just screaming. You know something bad wrong. She's hysterical. I try to talk to her and she can't tell me anything. She can't say anything.
Like, she's like, what's wrong? And I just don't go in. Do not go in it.
And of course, I don't know.
Marcus opens the door and he backs up and I remember his face. And it's just pure terror.
And now I started hollering. I don't know what I said. Worst thing you can imagine. Worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm still on the phone with 911 and we realized her daughter was in the house. She's 3 years old.
So I head back to the door and then started calling her name, screaming it. About the 4th or 5th time I heard something and she finally spoke. I turned around and looked at Chris. I was going to have to step over her to get to her. And I knew I couldn't do it. So I go back into the kitchen area and I had to step over Reagan and walk through the whole scene. I'm looking in the rooms as I go back and I get to the very last bedroom. And Reagan's daughter is stricken. When I walk into the room, she reflexes and draws the covers up. And then she notices and recognized me. And she jumped up and just ran and jumped off the bed. I had to catch her.
And about that time, the police officers pulled up. I meet the first one and I'm like, listen, she's pregnant. I don't know. I don't know if the baby's still out or not, but she's pregnant. I don't know how long it's been. You know, just please know that.
We didn't know where the baby was or not. Because there's an awful lot of blood everywhere. All around the legs and just a lot of blood. Okay. That's okay. No. You've been 36 weeks. My brother called me and said, hey, there's some stuff on Facebook that it said that the baby had been taken from us.
We've often expecting another murder baby cut from one.
That's how we found out that that's what happened to us.
She's in there. She refuses to have the document to make sure she's not hemorrhaging. They've done an ultrasound and HCG, and if they would say she's in pregnancy, they have to flip their test to deliver it. If there's anything we need to talk this about. What did you have? Did you have a boy or a girl? A girl.
You got a name?
Thanks again. Thanks again. Right.
Let's see. It looks like she had a baby.
It doesn't? Okay.
Does not look like she had a baby. I wasn't there. I didn't kill nobody. What kind of story that? Who knows? Who knows you did it? It's all about this stuff is actually to be said. Very places to be said. Yeah, who, what, when, where, and why. When I got there,
I asked him at the front desk, I said, know where I find Taylor Parker at? And she just kind of looked at me for a second and then paused and then pointed down the hall. She said, right down here to the right. And I walked down there to the end of the hall and went right. That's whenever there was 3 officers walking towards me. Come up to me and asked me, was I way tripping? They said, we're going to restrain you for a little bit and take you in to ask you some questions.
Somebody says that there's someone in custody in Idabel, Oklahoma.
Got me quite a few things in there.
We are back to work, Templeton. Hello, you beautiful baby car.
Yes, boss. Ready for duty. Hi, boss's brother. Are we always this friendly?
I'm starting to that's what this is, an elixir factory? I thought this bitch was a paint factory, nigga. Oh, let's get it. Got kind of. Take his shoes off. Ah, shit. See what the fuck I got first. I know I got some shoes. Some boots, whatever. I think at least. That damn dog would pick up anything. It stares at the open sky. They increase grip, huh? I don't know what they need to. Increase grip on what fucking mountain, nigga? What does that move? No. I'm tripping. That's the fucking one I just had. You get a lot of cobwebs in this bitch. God, turn the heater on. Fucking. I think that's it in here. Okay. Look at this. Well, I gotta push this shit too. I probably ain't supposed to be in that motherfucker. Yeah, I don't know. Ain't with the east, that's why I put oil down to like two. What the fuck? I want to say it's in here. Or no. Fuck the heater. Can suck. These other cans fit because to the heater. Yeah, it's the fucking heater. That's what I thought. Some shit, well, I don't know. I do know that's the fucking heater, cause was it right here? Just for the fuck I put that bitch. Aim at the cannon. He can spot that one and place the boom effect. Much. Right here? Okay, like what the fuck? Like this is just fucking, I'm confused, bro. What? They should have said that, do that shit, like, they didn't fucking, they said to put that shit before. That's terrible instructions, for real. Okay, now I know. Aim at the foot switch. What fucking foot switch? Is it right here? It's right here. What? I didn't know that. Like, hold on, let me start this shit. We got things to actually make it open. I swear there's like a button or something. I'm doing something right. Get over here. Hell, nigga, I don't know. Hell, nigga, I don't fucking know. Let me go down here first. Where the fuck do they go? Like, can I get them? Okay. Yeah, I know what people are running. Now I know how. I don't know what that shit's for though. Do some important little missions.
Not down yet.
I'm not about to lose my shit, so I'm deleting it. I mean, I'm leaving.